Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk about the Walking Dead TV show and the time skip. Now, I'll tell you right from the gate, I don't really have any news at all. This is just for fans of the show and fans of the comic book, probably more so fans of the comic book, but this is one of those videos where I just want to talk about my opinions because something really hit me after I got over the whole Rick fiasco and what's going on there, and I took in everything that was going on as far as the overwhelming information. But the time skip itself, and the reason why it hit me so much after especially just rewatching the trailer again, this is a point in the comic that I just loved. Oh my god, I loved it. I was hooked right from the entrance of Negan as far as reading the single comics. Month to month, I was reading the bigger clumps. If you're not into comics, you're not going to know, but they have bigger versions. It combines all the small issues, the monthlies. And then around Negan's entrance, a little bit before that, I started reading month to month. And they went into All Out War. I mean, Negan's entrance, and then All Out War a year later in our time, and then they went into All Out War. It was epic, so much going on, and then it went into this new beginning. They changed the layout of the cover of the comic book. There was a time skip. They started out with these new characters, and then we were introduced to the communities after the war, people changing, the landscape changing, the looks of characters changing, the story itself. This is at a point where The Walking Dead in the comic will never be the same again. The Walking Dead that you started, and it was a group of survivors, and everything was fresh, and they can scavenge for canned food, and they're looking for a safe place to lay their head. That type of story was completely changed after the time skip, and this was a whole new beginning. Literally, and the title was A New Beginning. And it was so exciting and so fresh. And it was such a slow build. It was a nice introduction to the world and a time skip. And then it introduced little things with characters and what they've been doing over the past few years. And with the show, at least, it looks like Daryl's going to be taking the loss of Rick so hard. He's just kind of like a mountain man living in the woods. Carol's got long hair. Michonne's got a new look. And when we got the first trailer for the Walking Dead Season 9, and we had that little time skip, there was always rumors of a second time skip, and there was rumors of Rick dying, and then it just made sense. Instead of having the characters mourn all season, just put a time skip right after he dies, and it looks like that line's in place perfectly. However, when we were first introduced to the Season 9 trailer, it didn't have that same time skip new beginning vibe that I got from the comic that I just loved so much. But then having everything happen with Rick, and then we moved into the previews for the next 3 episodes, which I am a little worried about. The last time they did that, it was because the next episode was a bottle episode I call a split episode, and it focused on Tara only at the Oceanside. Remember that? They showed us, remember? It was one of the only times they showed us 3 episodes at once. It was because they had a slow episode coming up with not a lot of characters, so I'm a little bit worried how they did that. But since it's a new beginning, I'm thinking it's not a split episode. It's more like, look at what we have in store after Rick. We have all this going on after Rick's departure. But the trailer and the characters and this time skip, man, it did what I wanted the original trailer. And I don't mean that like they did it wrong. I get why they did the structure like this with Rick's story and then the new beginning now. And it just feels so awesome. It doesn't feel like that structured episode 1. The premiere has to be this, special episode, and then nothing happens till the episode 8. We know that isn't exactly true, but they did get into that formula where they did 1 to 8, and it had a theme, and then something big happened, and then we had a new theme from 9 to 16, and it was getting stale. I hate when they do that, though, where they say, okay, the big thing is the premieres and the finales, so I'm glad it looks like they've changed that formula, because it's not a winning formula. You need the story to just play out. If something big and epic pops off in episode 5, you need to just let it. If something epic pops off in 7, let it. Don't hold it over. Don't drag it out and then pop it in episode 8, like the No Way Out, where we're just getting into it, and then we have this cliffhanger that, did it even happen? The kid's like, mommy, and the zombies, and it was like, whoa, what a way to end it. And then episode 9 just picks off like that never happened. I love the No Way Out. I love a lot of that. I hate that cliffhanger. I like how it ended. It ended in that, oh shit, they're screwed, but it didn't go anywhere. And I think that's all stuff they need to correct moving forward. And this new beginning just has such a nice vibe to it. And keep in mind, I fully know and I'm fine with The Walking Dead that we know and love. And this is something that AMC could probably do in the movies they want to bring out. The Walking Dead that we know and love, that has to change. With a time skip, it has to change. You're not going to have little groups anymore. People, in order for it to be realistic, they need to bunker down and grow food. They can't just scavenge and find canned food and find cereal. You know what I mean? It needs to change based off of the realism that they have set up. In order to do that, we won't have that old style anymore with little groups of people, building bonds and friendships. Everything changes and gets on a bigger scale. And that's something I'm looking forward to. But even with the movies moving ahead, they can do a spin-off Walking Dead movie that doesn't even touch on any character. The possibility is there. Now, will some people get a little zombie fatigue or bounce out? Yes, but if you get an interesting, gripping story and have a one-shot in the beginning, that way you're giving fans some of that beginning stuff when The Walking Dead is moving on and grown past that. I think there's definitely so much potential and possibility there. Even if you want to take a character like Negan, showcase his story, his spin-off story from the beginning, and you get those fresh times of the downbreak of society, the breakdown of society, because that's totally different. The breakdown of society versus now with the new beginning and the time skip, the communities and crops and rebuilding civilization, definitely a different vibe to it. But I'm so excited to see where we go. As a Rick fan, I am, even though we're going to get his story in 2020 probably, there's a part of me that's so not looking forward to The Walking Dead without Rick. It's almost like he's dead. It's almost like he's dead. I loved the Rick character so much. It's going to be like, I don't know. But there is something about the trailer. There is something about the new beginning aspect that just has me an extra level of just excited. I mean, holy shit. I can't wait to have so much fun. And I hope watching this show, and I really hope that the next half of this season, or the next, not only the half of this season, but the rest of the season, because the Whispers, my God, when we get to the Whispers, those villains, straight up, that was one of the most, put it this way, it's a survival horror story, right? A continuing story of survival. The Whisper story arc, the new villains coming up, that's the moment for me personally in the comic where it felt like a horror story. It felt like a creepy horror story, and I hope they can just capture that and run with that. And it's not just about the reveal. The reveal, when they did it in the comic, not a lot of fans, there was a handful of fans that were going, Kirkman, you lost your mind. You did this time skip. Now you're saying the walkers are evolving and they can talk, and there's a handful of fans went off the reservation with some crazy shit going on. And immediately, you can go back and watch my old reviews. I was even reviewing the comic back then. I said straight up, It's not happening. It's got to be people who learn to live among the zombies. But it's the reveal of who they are, of how they live, of what they're about. And it's the connection with the characters and what they can do and how dangerous they really are. It's how that's done. And we got Ryan Hurst from Sons of Anarchy. Fuck. This is going to be so good, or at least I hope so. I am so fucking excited for what's coming up. And I just wanted to talk with you guys about it for a little bit. And like I said, this wasn't with news. This is just like one fan. I just want to sit down and talk fan to fan with you all. And I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions about how hype you are going forward. I think this especially has a special place for me because of how much I loved the New Beginning story arc, and then it rolled right into the new villains, the Whisperers. And even though they did go out with a whimper, I feel you don't have to do that ending on the show. You can go out with a bang. Imagine, and they don't have to do this, but imagine the possibility of another No Way Out type scenario, except for this time when people are hiding in the houses and around the communities. You have people who are controlling the herd. I don't want to get too spoilery, but they're leading the herd. They're breaking off locks and letting zombies into houses. Imagine people in these communities living and thinking they're safe, and they'll just be quiet and let the zombies pass through. But imagine that creepy vibe you can get of just the thud of someone like Beta, a massive beast of a man with two big matching blades, just thud walking up the steps knowing he's just going to come and butcher anyone he finds, and they're rolling through this community and they're just going to butcher everyone they come across. And you got the tension and the suspense, even if you're covered in guts and you're in that crowd as one of our characters. You can have a Whisper stab you in the back. I mean, you can't even you can't even draw too much attention to you, or the walkers will turn on you. You can have, one insane tension-filled episode. You don't have to do it like the comic, because I'd want to see the end of the Whisper story heavily remixed away from the comic, because I think there's just more potential for them to tap into. Anyhow, put your thoughts and opinions in that comment box. This one especially, I want to hear what you guys have to say about the potential for the New Beginning and the Whispers on the show, because I think it looks so good. Couple little cringe moments, yeah, sure, and we'll talk about those coming up. Thoughts and opinions? I'm done talking, so it's your turn.